Hi, welcome to Papa G's Sing-Along series. This is episode 1, where I get my proverbial feet wet. So, to set this up, my idea is to take songs that are relatively easy to play and get some of you started learning them. I know easy is totally subjective, so I'm assuming that some of the folks watching will have at least a little piano background. Knowing scales and chords will certainly be helpful. And if you have no prior musical knowledge, just watch the fingers and listen and practice, and you'll get it. I'll also state for the record, I am not a trained vocalist, as I'm sure many of you will hear right away. But that's not the point. The point is to have fun playing piano and singing songs. It feels good for me to sing, so I do it. And if it feels good to you, you should do it too. Don't worry about your voice and don't be embarrassed, okay? Just have fun. The more you sing, the more you do it, the more you pay attention to what you're singing, the better you'll get at it. And I'm also not going to pretend to always get all the chords right. They should be pretty darn close for most of the songs. At least plenty good for a sing-along. So ultimately, I recommend listening to as many recordings of these songs as you can and learn what you can by ear. And if you have the money and the time to take a piano lesson with a real live human, that's a great idea. There's great teachers out there, and they'll certainly push you a lot more than a YouTube video. But in the meantime, let's have some fun, because this is what this is all about. So, episode number 1, we will ask the timeless question: what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? It's a tune written by Mr. Nick Lowe, and most people probably know the Elvis Costello version. Elvis does it in the key of G. You could see these are my notes. You could do the same thing. I have books full of these. I have a book that I'm filling up with sing-along songs, and it's really fun. So I'm just gonna kind of make some videos going through this, and hopefully get some folks playing some songs. So anyway, this is what I'm going to be going off here, and I'll walk you through some of it and give you a little theory in there and maybe a little music history too. So anyway, here's I'll just play through a verse and a chorus, and so you can hear it, and then I'll explain what I'm doing. All right. As I walk through this wicked world, searching for light in the darkness, insanity, I ask myself, is all hope lost? Is there only pain and hatred and misery? 'Cause each time I feel like this inside, one thing I want to know: what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Whoa, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Okay, so there's a verse and a chorus. Let's break this down a little bit. The intro and the solo, when you get to that part, have a G in the bass, and what I'm doing up top is playing an inversion of a G chord. So there's a G major chord. I'm just taking this G, putting it up here, so it's still a G major chord, it's just an inversion of it. Okay, and now the chords are G, D, C. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm playing inversions of a D chord and a C chord. So that's called voice leading, and it's something that was done in the time before Bach, way back when people were singing in choirs and choruses, and they weren't super talented, and they couldn't really jump around singing. So what they did was they made the music move by step, so it was easy for them to sing, and it also sounds better that way when the music moves by step. So as opposed to playing GDC like this, See how that jumps around? This way, everything moves by step. So what you want to do, you know, you want to look for the common notes when you're doing this. Okay, so like here you go, you got a G, now you're going to D. You can keep that D there and just move these two by step. See that? So I'm just moving the outside notes down one step. Okay, there's the D. And now I'm going to go to the C. I'm going to move everything down one step. So those are inversions of these chords, and everything's moving by step. Okay, so it sounds better that way. And you know, you can do up here, you know, you can do it in different places. And when I play this, I'll play it differently. I won't play it the same every time, but this is just one way to look at it, okay? So there's the intro, and you keep this G in the bass. You can play octaves down here if you want. Octaves are a no-no in jazz. We're not playing jazz, we're playing rock and roll, so they're okay. Okay, so then we get to the verse here. So you got same thing, G, D, C, but now the bass is going to move with the chords. So instead of holding that G down for all the chords, you're going to go G, D, C. See how the bass moves here? Okay. All right. As I walk through this wicked world. Okay, that's that. Now you're going to go to an E minor. Okay, here's an E minor in its root position. E, G, B. Okay, but this is where we are. We've just done this. So we're right here. Okay, here's your chord. Here's the C chord. We're going to go to E minor, and E minor has an E, G, and a B. And this is what we are playing already. We're already playing an E and a G. All we're going to do is move this down to a B, okay? So again, this is voice leading. If you can keep notes the same, keep them the same. If you can move them by one step, that's great. So you take that and you just, boom, there's your E minor. You only moved it down one step right there. Here's C, here's E minor, okay? So here's the C, searching for light, right? And then we're going to go to A, same thing. An A major chord is A, C sharp, E, okay? So we're right here on E minor. We already have this E. If we move these two just up one step, we're at our A. Okay, so we're going searching for light. There's the E minor. In the darkness, okay? We just moved everything up one step to that A. And now we're going to go to a D and then a C. So we're just going to move. We're going to keep this A and move these two up one step of insanity. So that's the same D and the C that we used before. We're just moving by step. It sounds really nice, okay? And try to apply that to whatever other chords you play and songs you play. You know, that's a good thing to keep in mind. If you can, you know, move the chords in their inversions around so they're not jumping, it sounds nice, you know. So again, here's the beginning here, the verse. As I walk through this wicked world, searching for light in the darkness of insanity. There's the D and then C. I ask myself, is all hope lost? Is there only pain and hatred and misery? So that's all there is to the verse, right? And now we're going to go to the chorus, all right? Each time I feel like this inside. Okay, so we're doing our G right here. Now we're playing a D in the right hand. This is an inversion, right? Here's the D major chord. We're going to play an inversion of that. Okay, it's a second inversion of a D major chord. But in the bass, we're not going to play the D in the bass. We're going to walk down a half step to the F sharp, which is the third, okay? Each time I feel like this inside, okay? We're going to go down another half step. We're going to play a G7. One thing I want to know. Okay, so we went from G, D with an F sharp in the bass, G7, okay? So a G7 is just taking a G major chord and adding the flat 7. And that goes for any chord. Take a major chord, D, add the flat 7. There's a D7, okay? So we're playing a G7 here, and the reason is that we're emphasizing the move to C after that, okay? Because a G, this all has to do with blues, like a 1-4-5 blues, and the 5 setting up the tonic, which this song, the tonic, is in the key of G, but now we want to emphasize going to C. So I hope this doesn't get too confusing, but hopefully some of you guys grasp this. It's a G7 and it's going to go to C, so it really emphasizes that C, you know, it makes it hit home. So you got, each time I feel like this inside, one thing I want to know, okay? I'm just telling you, that's why that 7 is in there, to really drive that C home. Then you go back to G. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Whoa. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Okay, so again, here's the chorus. Each time I feel like this inside, there's one thing I wanna know, and it's a C. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? That's an E minor, and then to A. Whoa. What's so funny about peace, love, and whoop. Nope, it goes to D. Sorry there. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? And then to the D. And then you're back into the intro part where it hangs on the G. And so on. And that's how that goes. So there's some basics. Hopefully that will help some of you folks out there. You know, embellish things. Feel free to like add some notes at times and see what sounds good to you, because really it's all about what sounds good. Like Mr. Duke Ellington said, if it sounds good, it is good. So work on what sounds good. And thanks. Hope this was helpful. Feel free to comment, and hopefully there'll be enough videos on there like this, if people dig it, that you could subscribe and do that sort of thing. So anyway, have fun. Thank you.